Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!
Hi kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday. Well, since you saw me last, I've spent the entire week being extremely ill. I'm currently over the worst of it now. I think we're on the last couple of days. But at the moment, I've got this ridiculously tickly cough, which just attacks me all of a sudden out of nowhere, including all night for the last 2 or 3 nights. And I've been coughing so much, I feel like this whole side of my head is broken. I've got a tension headache and I feel like I'm going to burst a blood vessel if I'm not careful. So all I've been doing for the last week is sitting down watching my Blake 7 Blu-ray in preparation for the reviews that we'll be doing soon. I'm going to stop talking in a minute because I think there's one on the way. But this week I did promise I would talk about the third day of filming on Mummified, which is the third and final day. So I'll stick some pictures up, I'll do a voiceover, which means I can cut out all the coughs, and it'll be a short one. I promise you that. See you at the end. So November the 6th was the third and final day that we were shooting. There's Gloucester Prison, and the building right at the bottom of the screen there, the little rectangular building, is where we were shooting. We're not shooting in the main prison itself. We're shooting in an office building, which suits the needs of the film quite well. Anyway, we all got there plenty early this time. On the second day we were late because of traffic, but on the third day we managed to get there all around sort of the 9:10 mark. We were on our third sound guy because the time and money is all running out, so we had to cut costs wherever possible. And we didn't need the mummies this time. We brought the mummy dummies, and it did take me about an hour to reset the room as best as I could with some reference photos of where all the shelves and all the boxes and everything else went, and the things on the walls, and the statues and all the artifacts, etc. I guarantee I haven't got it completely right, so there's a drinking game there if you notice something move or appear or disappear between shots. But it all went really rather well, because this time we actually had power in the room. On the previous 2 days we had to bring power in using a 60 or 70 meter cable from a different building. This time we had power in the actual building we were in, which was very handy. So we were able to power our lights and charge batteries and things like that, no problem at all. So there was quite a bit to film. There was 75 lines of dialogue to film, which is about 7 or 8 pages of script. It's quite wordy because it's a comedy and there's lots of wordplay. We'd filmed all the action stuff on day one, and returning cast were, of course, Angharad Ford as Kells and Hannah Clift as Benny. Both these characters have come from my feature script for Bloody Students, which is currently on the shelf. But I kind of took the best characters and did a kind of what if. It's not part of Bloody Students, it's kind of something that I wanted to do with those two characters in the same kind of vein, seeing as I had all the mummy costumes and the props and all that kind of stuff. So we all got there, and I gotta say, I was super happy with everyone who came to work on the film. I did my best to make sure everyone got paid. It wasn't fortunes and it wasn't union rates, but I made sure that nobody went home out of pocket. And, you know, my two actresses, I can't speak highly enough of them. They both get drama and comedy really well, really quickly. The amount of stuff they had memorized was just brilliant. When you've got actors that memorize their lines or are able to memorize their lines quite quickly, that will save you so much time. There's nothing worse than an actor saying they're really up for it and then they turn up and they have to look at the script every 2 seconds because they haven't done any line learning. But both my actresses have. And I've got to give a good shout out to the 3 guys playing the mummies, Lucas, Callum and Harvey, because although Lucas has played a mummy before and other type of creatures, Callum and Harvey were quite new to it, and they were like troopers. They put the costumes on, which took a long time to dress up on day one, and we filmed all the action stuff, the girls fighting the mummies, on day one. So for day 2 and 3, they weren't needed. So what we did, I stuffed all the mummy costumes as best I could, and we had the mummies in a pile on the floor while the girls take some time out to basically argue, bicker, and have a go at each other. That was quite a wordy scene, a bunch of wordy scenes, to be honest, and I was worried that we might not get all the 75 lines shot, so I did actually do an edited version down to 50 lines just in case we were running out of time. But I've got to give props to the actresses again, who basically memorized everything they needed. So we were getting through scenes like crazy. 3 takes maximum. Maybe some more takes if there was physical stuff to do and sort of moving around and doing physical actions, but generally when the arguing and the bickering was all done in 1 or 2 takes. That's how good they were. Really happy with what they did. I wasn't cutting corners, and I wasn't accepting, any old basic reading of the line. The girls were basically, they found the comedy, they found the drama, they hit the right sort of mood and energy with it, and really did an amazing job. So I'm really excited to see what happens. So we were very chuffed to get some effect shots in there using practical lighting and the skeleton inside the sarcophagus and all these other things that round up the end of the film. It just goes to, I've said this before and I'll say it again, to be actually allowed to direct something the way I want it to, and have healthy feedback from cast and crew, but still feeling like I'm directing the film is the best feeling in the world. It's what I really wanted to do, and I've learned quite a lot from this shoot alone. So if I decide to direct something in future, I'll have a lot more skills and a lot more experience under my belt. We managed to finish filming by the end of about 2:30, which gave us half an hour to kind of check over if there was anything else we needed. And then we managed to clear most of the room. Many thanks to the cast and crew for helping me clear up the room, and obviously my friend Nick for helping me move everything out 2 days later to clear the room. So big thanks to Andy Stevens and Clive B at Gloucester Prison for accommodating us for the 3 shooting days. We couldn't have done it without you, to be honest. There was nowhere else we could shoot. And like I say, we're beginning to look at the editing now, and that's going to start on the 25th of November. And we'll have a rough edit done by that date, and then we'll see how far we can get by the end of the year. But there's no major rush. We'll probably finish editing around January, and we'll have something interesting to show. I'm not going to put it onto YouTube immediately. I want to enter some festivals and competitions to try and give something back to the actresses and the actors, who worked so hard on the film. And obviously it'd be nice to get a nomination or an award for something like that. So I hope you enjoyed the very rambly breakdown of day 3, but everything went really according to plan, much better than I could have hoped, and I was super happy. Well, I told you it was a short one. That's all there is to report. Really looking forward to the editing, and hopefully we may have a review of the first episode of Blake 7 on Blu-ray from my point of view and my special guest. And so I shall see you next weekend. Next Tuesday. You know what I mean. Take care now. Bye-bye then.